Well, hello there to my cancers. We're getting ready for this full moon. We are in the first quarter moon phase. We're in the wax and gibbous moon phase. When you watch this video, the moon will be in Virgo. So when a moon moves into Virgo, it would have already left Cancer. It would have already left Leo. You may be still feeling the effects of all of that, right? And just hopefully you all are journaling, Cancer. Hopefully you all are taking time to pour into yourselves. You're a water sign, right? So water symbolizes our emotions, our intuition, our quality of our relationships with other people, whether it's professional or personal relationships, our friendships, our spirituality. And so this is a time to really pour into yourself that way. And just like what kind of relationships do you want to have with yourself? And also before Pluto goes retrograde, which is on May 2nd, start thanking Source in advance that rose-colored glasses are not forcibly removed, from karmic relationships. So thanking God, it's a simple prayer. God, thank you for removing karmic bonds. Thank you. That's right. Thank you for removing karmic bonds in my life, with myself. Am I in an unhealthy relationship? Not just with other people. Am I in an unhealthy relationship with money? Do I want to attract more money? Do I want to attract healthy, clear water relationships, right? It's a lot of things. So let's get into your reading. The energy has already been cleared, Cancers. You all, like I said before, are water signs, and we know what water symbolizes. You all are ruled by the moon. So the moon are our instincts, our emotions, our intuition, our the unconsciousness, the instincts, the habits, the moods, right? So hopefully you all are pouring into yourselves and being very meticulous about who you allow to pour into you. Here we have the Nine of Swords. Here we have the Nine of Pentacles. Here we have the Ace of Pentacles. Here we also have the Seven of Cups, the Hermit card, and then also the Moon card. I feel like some people from your past are going through a nightmare right now. They're going through a nightmare. There's some energies who are going through a very overwhelming time in their lives. And as much as compassionate as you are, it's two types of energies in particular. They're going through a nightmare right now. Here we have the Nine of Swords. Here we also have the Seven of Cups, the Nine of Pentacles, and then also the Ace of Pentacles. There were some energies from your past that really just didn't believe in you. Maybe they heard some things. Maybe they're under some kind of mind control because people didn't believe in them. And so forth, they didn't believe in you. Whatever the disbelief is, right? But for Source is saying to you, this is the I believe sign. Once you started going through your own personal checklist, it's like, during this time that Mercury is retrograde until April 25th, this is where you're learning how to pour into yourself and remember how you poured into other people's lives. So it doesn't matter what you're waiting on. You could be waiting for, feedback on a job that's coming through. You could be waiting for money to come through. Whatever you're waiting on, don't be a nightmare to yourself and to other people by looking at a calendar, looking at a clock. I thought it would have come through by now. What's this? This is a time for you to say, in the moon in Virgo, this moon card in Virgo, this is Virgo, meticulously attend to some tasks. This is where you're pouring into yourselves during this time instead of driving yourself crazy. Virgo and Geminis are ruled by Mercury. Mercury is retrograde. That's why you hear horror stories when Mercury is retrograde. There's some energies that felt like they wanted to build a legacy with you, but they got under so much mind control. They did not know how to sift through clarity of emotions, right? They didn't know how to listen to their own instincts and God-given common sense about you. And so sources say that's out of your universe. You're leaving those energies in the past. That has nothing to do with you because it's a lot of energies connected to that. Don't let it contaminate your water, okay? Move on from it. Move on because you got some news that's trying to come in and it's trying to come in fast, right? You had a Kundalini experience and you can be tending to the snake bite if you want to, or you can say, God, thank you that I saw the snake before I was bitten by a venomous snake and let me move on. Let me end that. The number 9 is I'm getting away from people who are on the dark side of the number 9. They're egotistical and tyrannical when they believe that they had this kind of mind control over you, or they felt like, okay, the amount of time I put into something, Cancer owes me some time back, or I feel like I put some time into stuff and you broke that spell immediately. That was a form of spell work. That's mind control. I put in all this time. I talked to Cancer. I did this and that, and now things didn't work out the way I thought it was going to work out. And Source is saying you keep on moving forward. Detach. Cord cutting. That's right, because when you go against, looking at your cards here, when you go against what Source told you to cut ties with, it doesn't matter who it is. Like, I feel like somebody's cutting ties with their mother and their father. And whether they're still alive or not, I feel like you're leaving that part of you where they didn't believe in themselves, so it was hard for them to believe in you. That's the part that you're cutting off. Doesn't mean you physically cutting your mom and dad off, or that's the part of yourself that you're cutting off, right? Some of the people, if you don't have the best relationship with your parents or a parent, they may feel like they would have been a nightmare to me my whole life, that kind of stuff. You're cutting all of that off, because the more you sit in that toxicity, you'll start to believe you are a nightmare to other people. And so Source is saying it's time to cut away karmic relationships. You want to do it when you are gently removing the rose-colored glasses versus them being forcibly removed. That's what I'm seeing for you all. So you're not carrying other people's emotional burdens. Queen of Cups, the Hangman. We have the Lover's card. We have the Star card. We have the Strength card, and also the Magician card. Yeah, once you found your star, your sun is the star, right? Once you found your light, your purpose, and Source is saying that you are learning how. We have the Lover's card. These two cards right here are ruled by Mercury, right? Once you start to cut away from people who don't believe in other people, they've been in your ear. I don't believe them. They're crazy. All the stuff people have said about you, Cancer, your water sign. People accuse water signs of being crazy all the time, because water symbolizes our emotions, our intuition, our quality of relationships, spirituality, friendships. All the ones who told you, okay, no, they crazy. Something's wrong with them, such and such and such and such. Remember, people have said the same thing about you. Like I said, you have a hunch, an instinct about something. Like I said, money is trying to come across somebody's path. But if somebody is sitting there overthinking stuff, watching the clock, this right here is Mercury. These two signs right here, Gemini and Virgo, are ruled by this planet here, Mercury. That's how you take your power back. When the moon moves into Gemini, you all will remember, if you go back and watch previous videos when we talk about the moon in Gemini, it loves to learn, right? Gemini knows how to flip the switch. Their symbol are twins, right? So you sending out the energy into, you know what? I need to turn off this way of thinking that I've heard all this negative stuff about people, when actuality, that hasn't been my experience with them at all. Right? That hasn't been my experience with them at all. Here we also have the Strength card. So Source is saying you've heard people were just like in reactive mode and that they would be a nightmare to work with. The same thing people have said about you. Now you're getting something totally different in return. Source is saying hang in there with yourselves. Hang in there with yourselves. Here we also have the Queen of Cups, because Source is sending some energies across your path fast. That's why I really encourage people to stay away from, I don't get along with this sign, I don't get along with that sign. Everybody has a unique birth chart, even twins, triplets, quadruplets, or whatever. Let's see what else we got going on. So yeah, so it feels like, like I said before, you've heard some nightmare stories about some people. That Source is saying, the Source is saying to you, people have said the same thing about you. There's two sides of this sword. Two sides of this sword. Something is ending. And what's ending is you allowing yourself to be under mind control by being around people you're learning how to protect your ear gate. Just the vibration of sound through the wind coming out of their mouth. Just the trash talking, all of the mess that they've been saying about people. Because some of these people that you've been talking, that you've heard bad stuff about, are going to be the ones that's going to help put more money in your pocket in a very legitimate way. That's what you're going to start hearing. That's why, like, when you first meet people and you're like, okay, so it's just trying to get somebody to increase their knowledge, like a knowledge of self, of like, how do you talk to yourself? How do you do the mirror work? What do you speak into the universe? Like, what words are coming out of your mouth? Who are you around? Are you around a bunch of energies that waste a bunch of time trying to manipulate other people's emotions about other people? They've been doing the same thing about, as far as you're concerned. So Source is saying, hang in there with yourself, because somebody, like I said, it's just been overwhelming, just like waiting on some answers. But I'm telling you, Source is trying to increase partnerships in business and in love in your life, right? So Source is saying this sign right here is ruled by this planet, Neptune. You've been praying for a more blissful life, for financial independence, for a very rich legacy. You've been praying for that, and you don't know who God is going to use to help you on that journey. And so it's best for you to, if you've been hearing all this negative stuff about people, just like people, I feel like somebody's in a situation where people have been saying about you that you're a nightmare, Cancer, that you've been a nightmare to work with. You've caused people to lose money. But guess what? That's their opinion. That's their memory. You don't have to go up against their memory. Their feelings are just as valid as yours. But Source is saying to you, pour compassion into yourself, because the other part that they're not going to tell people is that how they've been a nightmare to you. They're not going to tell other people that. So that's why you just got to go ahead and cut ties. I'm telling you, Source is breaking up all karmic relationships. So you can gently remove those rose-colored glasses yourself, or they can be forcibly removed, where it's a bunch of sword fighting going on, a bunch of hurt words being exchanged, and all of that. So you can remove them yourself. Because there's some energies that's watching you right now. They're hot-headed. They're upset. You got all these great ideas. You made it to your throne. This is the way you make it to your throne, is to increase your spirituality and your prayer life. So not only did you increase your prayer life, remember, fire connects us with inspiration, enthusiasm, energy, action, goals, our mind, our ambitions, our dreams. Somebody prayed to get out of wilderness situations, and your situation and your prayers were answered. Here's the Moon card again. So again, Source is saying, I'm leaving some things in the past. Hurt people hurt people. Whether you realize you're hurting people or not, you can be sitting there with your mouth wired shut or your lips sewn together, and somebody will make a poor judgment about you or misjudge you. Source is saying to you, that is not your bag to carry. While everybody was running around talking negatively about how you were such a nightmare, God answered your prayers. And so if God answered your prayers to get away from situation, you waiting on some money or who you going to build a legacy with or going to business with, God is answering those prayers too. Don't let Mercury trip you up. Mercury retrograde trip you up. So right now, throughout Mercury retrograde, remember, if God did it before, God can do it again. And I'm not trying to preach religion to anybody. I'm just saying that you made it to your throne of your fire. That's inspiration. You're inspiring a lot of people. A lot of people are enthusiastically wanting to align themselves with you. A lot of people, you have helped them to increase their energy by taking their power back and getting away from wildfire energy and being around, bonfire energies. You have helped people to take action, help inspire people to be more goal-oriented. You've helped people to think for themselves, Cancer. You've helped people to become even more ambitious and dreaming bigger. And it's a lot of people from your past who have told everybody that you was a nightmare. God answered your prayers of getting away from them. So that prayer about who you going to meet and who you going to build this rich legacy with and when is it going to happen, it's going to happen when you replace when with thank you. That's when it's going to happen. That's when it's going to happen, because you've awakened from some nightmares in your past. And I'm talking about in your personal and your professional life. When you start replacing when with thank you, thank you, thank you, that's that spirit of gratitude. Thank you, God, for waking me up this morning. I already know the prayers that I prayed. You put it on other people's hearts. You're trying to help other people not have to go through their tower moment where the tower falls on them. Thank you, God. I know that you're replacing that. So those people who are watching you, they're inspired too. They're at a point of confusion because they haven't reached their throne of their wands. And so the enemy is working hard on a lot of people right now because they can't figure out for the life of them why you're leaving bridges burned. And not because you were the one that was holding the blowtorch. Why you're not talking to them after they burned you. They confused because you sat around through 9 swords. And this could have happened. Remember, time is relative. You've been hurt so much in the past, you still kept answering the phone. You just will not cut people off. They can't figure out now. You got to look at yourself and say how you also, in your codependency to them, didn't cut them off the many times they cut you. So it turned into a sword fight. And you got to ask yourself seriously, was money the reason why? Did I stay on that job when they kept hurting me on that job because of the size of a paycheck? Did I not believe? Let's go back to the I believe. I didn't believe in myself when God told me to leave 999 times. Speaking of 9. Could I not believe that I would get a better job? So now and this 9 came out again right here. 9 of Pentacles. So Source is making sure the impartation of wisdom and knowledge that you're passing on to other people, or when you're in situations where money is at stake, time and money, you've invested a lot of time into something and you feel like a lot of people feel like that's how some people feel like they get cut out of wills. I've been in this family for a long time and I should have gotten my piece of the pie. Your piece of the pie is that you're breathing and that you have a lot of gifts and talents to offer to other people. So you don't have to go into a war, a full-on war with your family if you feel like you've been cut out of some kind of inheritance. You inherited gifts and talent. That's why some people just say, if you want to cut me out of the inheritance, cool. Y'all just cut yourselves off from me for life. If you that money hungry, you just cut yourself off from me for life. And y'all go ahead and have at it. And that's why a lot of people walk away and they become wealthier. Because they're like, if y'all just fight, if y'all putting money over healthy relationships, that's a karmic bond right there. You would do anything to cut me out of something, and now you wonder why I don't want to have anything to do with you. But part of it is when you look at it now, moving forward, again, if God was able to get me out of that, God can get me answer all the other prayers I prayed. Somebody better get ready to be financially independent, and also in your personal and your professional life, and also to meet your twin energy, not a karmic. Karmics may want to come back into your life, but you're not interested. And I see somebody getting married, a partnership in business and or in love. Remember, a partnership, some kind of an agreement. Sometimes it's verbal, sometimes it's written, sometimes it's just an understanding that, hey, if I give you this money, then this is what the good product and services you're going to produce as a result of this. Right? So Source is saying everything doesn't have to be. I think I mentioned in one previous read, you got to record conversations and you got to do this and use it against people in the long run. Source is like, you got to get away from those types of energies, because those types of energies, that's contaminating you. So again, that's how I feel like people are going to meet their twin energy and not look at people like they need to be perfect. Okay. So this person says, that's how some people look at their, they go into romanticizing the idea of marriage. And I'm talking about marriage in business and or in love. Oh, my job said they was going to do this and they was going to do that. What if something happened where the budget didn't go through and your manager, their hands are tied? Some of you all have been in leadership positions where your hands were tied and your staff is looking at you like, okay, they lied. I was dependent on this. I was dependent on that. Source is saying to you, again, when you're going into things, you got to remember we don't have dominion over other human beings. So God could have put it on a lot of people's hearts. Come on, back up off of cancer. Cancer is not perfect, like you not perfect. But because they, like I said, they felt like you was a nightmare in their lives, they want to be now a nightmare in yours. And they are hot-headed. So it's saying if you need your rose-colored glasses forcibly removed, I'm telling y'all, this is the year karmic relationships are ending. And a lot of people are not happy with that. But I see you victoriously moving forward. Congratulations. Victory. That's right. 3 of Wands. 3 and 9 of Wands. I'm telling y'all have come into the light. You prayed to come out of some storms and God brought you through the storms. A lot of times you hear people say, and there's a lot of gospel songs written about, if God did it before, God can do it again. But when people are going through storms and can't see the time frame of when you're going to come out of a storm, that's where the doubt comes in. And that's all the enemy needs is a little bit of time for you to doubt. So I definitely see sources saying, take a leap of faith. It's time for you to move forward. You just got to take it little bit by little bit. Somebody prayed to get away from their past. Every single day you can wake up and say, God, okay, I'm at peace with myself. I remember how much trauma and survival mode I was in on that job. Trauma and survival mode in that neighborhood. Trauma and survival mode in that country, state, city, province. trauma, I was a trauma bonding with a spouse, or trauma bonding with that ex love interest or sibling or parents or whatever the case may be. I'm telling you, karmic relationships are ending. Karmic relationships are ending. And for some people who are not ready because they don't quote unquote believe in this kind of stuff, it's going to be harder for them. Queen of Wands, but you are feeling happy, charismatic, and free and moving forward. Here we have the Emperor card. Yeah. So Source is saying get real serious about adding structure. Get real serious about adding structure to your fire, because what you're leaving behind are people who are aggressive. They're impulsive. They see you as competition. There is no enthusiasm whatsoever. Only time they are enthusiastic is when they're hearing somebody's house burned down, or they only get excited when it's some bad news for somebody else, because misery loves company. They're only inspired by negativity. Their haters motivate them. You're not even on that frequency. You're like, God motivates me, not my haters. Why would I give my haters any credit? That's the frequency that you're on, right? You see yourself as you versus you. You're your only competition, a person looking back at you in the mirror, but they see you as competition. That's how some people are not able to break relationships with narcissistic parents, narcissistic siblings, because they're like, I can't believe, that they see me as competition. So what do you do as the mother in the money sign of the Zodiac? You keep paying them more time to show them that, oh my God, they need some more nurturing. They're so hurt, and I can nurture them. Now you are literally paying them to be connected to you. Karmic relationship. And then you wonder why when you finally wake up out of a nightmare and cut ties with them, why they are so enraged. So that's changing. That is changing. So Source is making sure you're financially independent, so you have nothing to do with them at all. Is a star card, right? So your star. And here's the thing about it. Once they recognize it's them versus them and not them versus you, and they stop blabbing your mouth all over town for anybody who will listen to how much you was a nightmare in their lives and blah, blah, blah. Source is saying they'll recognize that they too are a star. They don't want anybody else's star to shine bright. And these are organizations as well. So a lot of major changes are happening, but Source is saying, I'm giving you a lot of opportunities coming your way. Yeah. A lot of people are saying you was a nightmare in their life. They don't care about when you meet somebody who is hurting. You got to really be careful, because hurt people really can hurt people, especially if they're not really willing to start the healing process, Cancer. And because you all are wired to be the mother of the Zodiac sign, right? You all are intuitive. You're very compassionate. You're emotional. You're sentimental. You're very sensitive. You're like this homely kind of energy, like a person who is like, you know how to decorate your house and make it a warm space to be in. That's why you like being in your little crab shell and that kind of stuff. And you feel like home to a lot of people, Cancer. I really need y'all to understand why people want to be connected to you. If y'all have ever invited people to your home, they're like, oh, wow, your home, this just feels like home. It just smells like home. Everything about you smells and feels like what they wish their home would be. And but a person will see that as competition, because they still are in this internal battle and this internal fight. So it's just like you're not fighting with them. You're not battling with them. So you've had to cut some energies off and move on. You've awakened from a nightmare. So congratulations. Here we also have the Seven of Cups, right? So you're also teaching other people, whoever God assigned to you on this side of things. Like I said, we're getting closer and closer to a full moon. And Scorpio is a pink moon. You have removed the rose-colored glasses, but you're also teaching other people in a very gentle, nurturing, homely kind of way how to remove their rose-colored glasses, right? It is really a privilege and honor to be connected to you. I'm telling you, and I'm not telling this for somebody to have your ego to be blown out of proportion. I feel like it's harder for you, Cancer, to detach from people than it is for them to detach. I feel like I feel like you would be the one who would cry about it, or so sure some kind of unhealthy emotion, crying, anger, frustration, whatever. And unfortunately, your past relationships, that's how you were able to get to 9, is from such deep traumatic pain of being cut off, deep with their words and their actions, is because somebody had to learn how to properly close out cycles. That's why Source says, get real serious about the majority of cards I'm looking at here is how you inspire and how you motivate people. Words create spells. on people. And so you want to stay in high vibrational fire despite the people in the past that have preyed on you in your love life, friendship, family, whatever. Somebody is a serious prayer warrior here. And the energies that were assigned to you for training have been predatory energies. That's why you've been preyed upon at work. That's why you've been preyed upon in your family, siblings jealous, people jealous, trying to get you out of stuff. All of this stuff has just been a nightmare. But see, now that you've awakened, this is a 9 of Swords, you've awakened from a Freddy Krueger nightmare on Elm Street. Source is saying to you, now you can use that same fight. This is what's going to make somebody financially independent. You operating in your purpose. And this is what's going to attract your actual person to you, is now you know how to use your fire for good. And like I said, using it for good is you're an inspiration to a lot of people. You're enthusiastic. You have great energy. You take action when necessary. When sources saying, okay, I need you to pray for somebody, you pray for people. When God shows you that people are praying on you, you know how to close out sight. You don't sit there and keep asking 1,000, well, why are they praying on me? I want the best for them. God said, close out the cycle. And when you won't do it, I'll make them do something to you, so you have no choice but to close it out. Them cutting you off, showing you time and time again. So again, that's what I'm seeing for you all. So congratulations to you all for just thanking God in advance for the removal of karmic relationships in your life. All karmic relationships. So that you can get on about the business of seeing yourself and other people that other people have told you that was a nightmare to work with. And people have been saying, well, you'll see, you'll find out. I told you, they waiting for some kind of bad blow up to happen between you and somebody. Just like people said the same thing about you, Cancer. So, that's why Source is trying to get you to create very firm boundaries. Source is trying to get you to create very firm boundaries and, don't go in, I'm all so excited about this. And I mean, you don't have to act like you don't have a pulse, but again, in a healthy, everything in moderation. So here we have the Temperance card. Here we have the Lovers card again, the Hierophant card. We also have the 8 of Swords. We also have the 4 of Cups. There's some organizations that want to work with you. There's a Strength card. So Source is saying your meekness is your weak. Some of them you'll be saying no in a very gentle way. And just be prepared for people to, like I said, there's some energies that are inspired by your energy. You don't have to lament over it. You don't have to overthink it. There's some energies will come up against you, come to you, and and it'll be very triggering for you because people now want to work with you because you were able to successfully leave past situations behind. Source is saying to you, this card right here, Taurus and Libra are ruled by Venus, right? If you've ever experienced, and I'm talking about a personal, we're talking about you heard something about, that's the problem now, all this hearsay running around from these so-called reliable sources. The only reliable source is God. There's some energies that want to align themselves with you because they see how impactful you are, how you inspire and motivate people, Cancers. I need y'all to hear me loud and clear. And they want to come to you with some kind of offer. This card right here connects us with partnerships in business and or in love. But if you have ever personally experienced, meaning you've heard them, try to ruin other people's relationships, they spreading gossip and rumor. It may not even have been about you because at some point you'll be in the hot seat to see how it feels. If you've been burned by them or you've heard them or witnessed them, how they burn other people, sources like that's your cue right there to say no in a very gentle way. Here we have the 8 of Swords. Because it'll end up driving you crazy trying to stay connected to energies who burn other people. And they'll tell you out of their mouth. You got to remember you're a divine feminine sign, even though you embody divine masculine and divine feminine, and you're a prayer and meditation warrior. God will show you if they lying or not, because they're creating some form of confusion. You can either say to them, okay, well, you're saying a whole bunch of negative things about so-and-so. Well, I'm sure, maybe I need to hear their side of the story. That's when they'll go into some kind of rage. Oh, nah, see, I've known you longer, that kind of stuff. Here's the Temperance card. So Source is showing you things from a higher frequency. So looking at your cards here, Cancer, I'm going to give you the questions for the moon in Virgo because the moon is in Virgo when you watch this video. But looking at this here, once you pray to get out of certain situations, don't become that to somebody else, especially if they're trying to enforce boundaries. they may be hurting too. And so just know learn how to when to close out cycles with energies who are hurting. Not because you heard they were a nightmare, because that's what people are trying to say about you right now, that you were a nightmare in their company, that you were a nightmare in the family. You were just a nightmare, like you were the nightmare on Elm Street. And if you stay connected to those energies as a water sign, then because we are made up of such a large percentage of water, it'll cause you to start overthinking things. And maybe I was a nightmare, right? So once you got off that hamster wheel of hurt, it really hurt other people. And I mean, I don't know, just think of the logic. I mean, it may sound illogical to you, but remember Mercury in retrograde, it slows down people's, retrograde period gives the illusion that planets move backwards and then they move at a slower pace. Imagine this. I need somebody to understand this. Some of the people that you left behind, remember Mercury retrograde affects everybody, right? We haven't even gotten to Pluto retrograde, which is going to really be massive for a lot of people. But Mercury is the communication messenger planet, knowledge, learning, factual memory, opinions of things, sibling relationships, trade, travel, commerce. So while you're waiting for money to come through, for instance, as I feel like somebody's waiting for some information about money to come through, that almost like it's driving somebody crazy, something having to do with whether you're going to move and live a lifestyle where you don't have to pay out as much, or waiting on a check to come in the mail, or waiting for some kind of money or something to come through. Sources say this is the perfect time to pour into yourself, because it'll be very easy for you to vibrate on a lower frequency and start drinking or start hanging out and start pouring in yourself in unhealthy ways. Source is trying to get somebody to remember that a lot of times when you stay connected to hurt, and I'm talking about stay connected to karmic relationships, you don't even realize how much of a nightmare you are to other people. That's what Source is trying to get somebody to say, well, I don't know how it can be a nightmare. My heart is in the right place. Yes, your intention may be in the right place. But if you are staying connected to hurt people that's bleeding all over you, and God told you to detach from those energies, and you stay connected, guess who looks like they wearing the blood? You. Guilty by association. You ever seen those scary movies where somebody walks in the house and finds a body and they pick up the weapon? Now your fingerprints are on it. Source is saying to you, that's what it's been like when you stay connected to toxic families and you take that mess into work. That's what it looks like when you stay connected to toxic friendships that's like family, and then you enter into somebody else's life. That's where all of this I gotta have receipts comes from, because I've been so hurt and I'm still connected to these toxic relationships. I don't get a chance to see where people are genuinely good people because I'm still connected to the people who see me as a nightmare. So that's what Source is trying to get somebody to learn how to do, is detach from these. And I'm telling you, this is the year of wealth. It's going to be a lot of very happy people this year financially because they're going along with God's flow. So Mercury is retrograde. Let me slow down and increase my knowledge and wisdom of self. Have I been a nightmare in people's lives? Have I driven people crazy by just how being a divine feminine sign and how I process my emotions? Did I speak up when I could have? Did I close out cycles when I could have? Or did I play a role in creating codependent relationships? So that's what Source is trying to help somebody to do, is like invest more in how you communicate. What kind of messages do you send out verbally, non-verbally, eye contact, gestures, emails, text messages? Like, invest in yourself. That's what Source is trying to say. Take this time. There's so many different forms of communication. Those are just some. Social media. Do I put stuff on social media that my intention behind it is to make an ex-girlfriend, ex-boyfriend jealous because now I got my new person sitting? Like, what's the intention behind it? Because that's what people are being judged on, is the intention behind it, right? Because while you inspire and you motivate a whole lot of people. And Source is saying, I'm answering your prayers, but it's just that Mercury retrograde where all these memories come flooding back in and reminding you of how many people were a nightmare in your life. And God is trying to get you to flush all of that stuff out, like in that in-between time while you're waiting for some news to come. And so, okay, did I create codependent relationships, right? So that's what Source is trying to tell you. That's what Source is trying to tell you. Right now, somebody could be asking you for more money, and you could have said, you could have told them 50,000 different ways. Because I feel like that's another part of your reading too. You told them 1,000 different ways, because you're right there at the vault door. Listen, I've already given you money. I'm talking about physical money. They're asking you for money. Something about your time and money. You've invested time in increasing your wisdom and knowledge. And it's like they smell new money coming across your past. So that's why your past is trying to resurface. They don't have a problem keep asking you for money. It's always some dire emergency. But they're not using their time wisely like you're using yours. That's the test for somebody. And I see somebody passing the test. Whether you said, hey, this is the last time I'm doing this for you, there is no more. Not that you don't have any more, because something is coming in, but this is the last time, no matter what the circumstance is. And I'm serious. I mean, for real, it's down to the fact, even if there was like a dire emergency in their lives, and see the old you would have said, well, you know what? I mean, if I had it, that's just, and Source told you to close it out. Obedience is better than sacrifice. Because somebody is sick and tired of being used. That's what I'm saying here in your card. You are sick and tired of people taking your kindness for weakness. Somebody is tired of being used. And you don't want it to come out in new relationships on other people. So I'm telling you, karmic relationships are ending this year. So because somebody from your past wants you in a straitjacket, or they want you in handcuffs. And don't wait until that happens before somebody's like, oh my God, I had no idea. Why would they want that from me? Because I'm telling you, that's how traumatic it is for some people when you've been kept giving into their demands. Every time they wanted something from you, the first time you said no, and all of a sudden all hell is breaking loose for some people. So I don't know. Like I said before, Source is saying somebody is tempting to go back to something. That Source is like, keep your vibrations high. Keep pouring into yourself while you're waiting. Every day, wake up. Thank Source in advance. Because some people from your past are saying you created a nightmare in their lives. And they want to reach out to you. They want to reach out to you. Seem like they're getting a warm offer. And hey, and I'm telling you, because the devil is so crafty, the devil is never going to come at you straight up. It's just very crafty, right? Because like I said, people are watching you. It's never going to come at you straight up and just like, hey, remember such and such and such and such, right? The devil will come at you in a way, like I said before, that's why Source is going to show you in a meditative state. Going to show you that your prayers are being answered. Now that you're in the light, you cannot say you don't know. You cannot say that you don't know, because God will show you through the memories. People are sitting around watching you. They seeing you happy and charismatic and free. They spreading stuff about you like wildfire, that you were a nightmare to their lives. And if it wasn't for you, and they sorry to the day that they met you, and all of this other stuff, Cancer. I hope y'all get this. Source is saying to you, you got to remember, when you stay connected to hurt people, and you think, okay, I'm the supposed to, and God told you that the assignment is up. I don't care if it's for 1 hour, 1 day, 2 days, 10 years, or whatever. When Source is telling you that the time is up, and you stay connected to those energies, I feel like somebody wants to reach out to you. And I feel like they want to reach out to you and give you some kind of a warm offer that is not the offer you want, because you're waiting on money. And you right here at financial independence. It's two types of energies that want to come back and act like they warming up to you. Don't let the fact that idle time, because you're waiting on some other news to come in, that you caught off guard. That's how people get caught off guard all the time. Again, 999. You are very, very unique. It's a lot, and you're very resourceful. I keep trying to tell you, here's the King of Pentacles, the wealthiest card in the deck. I keep trying to tell people that you all are the money sign. The energy of money is so attracted to you all. So if you're ever a Cancer that you feel like, okay, money slips through your finger like water and you just can't hold on to some, that is the time to start praying, Cancer. Who is it around me, God, that is taking up my time? What energy is siphoning my money? Their energy. That's how people put spells on people. What energies are around me that's blocking my wealth? Who is it, God? Show me, right? God will show you. But like I said, karmic relationships are ending. You'd be surprised at who God shows to you. 2 of Wands. Yeah, so Like I said, two situations in particular, you are wide awake. You can't even pretend like you don't know who it is at this point, for real. If you tune into this channel and I talk about closing out cycles in love, if you go backwards, I'm telling you, somebody wants to see you in handcuffs. I can't say it no plainer than this. They want to see you in handcuffs, or they want to see you in a mental institution. That's how angry some people are with you. They feel like something having to do with money, like somehow you cause them to lose money in some way, shape, form, or fashion. I can't even put it any plainer than this, Cancer. It's just, I mean, it's, if you've been looking for some kind of confirmation of who would be that angry with you, I'm telling you, some people hold on to stuff to the end of time. And your intention may not have been that at all. So if you're wondering who it is and you sitting there, I'm waiting on some other news to come. I'm waiting for financial independence, money. I keep hearing this is a year. Well, sit down and pray and meditate. So show me what I'm not seeing. Show me what energies are holding up my money. Some of y'all are waking up in sweats and don't know why. Sometimes you can't remember your dreams. You can't, or you just know you wake up sweaty. Some energies are really trying to burn you. And I'm not saying this for somebody to be scared or nervous or paranoid. I'm telling you that there's some energies from your past that feel some kind of way. So it's just trying to make sure they say, yes, because these are energies, like I said, God knows that you're unique, that your heart is in the right place, and that's all that really matters. But there's some energies right now because they have created such trauma in people's lives. They have so many enemies themselves. The fact that you're nurturing and the energy of, they haven't been able to stop or block your money. Some of them wanted y'all to lose your house. They wanted your relationship to be in shambles, all of that. And they spreading stuff like wildfire. So protect your energy. Let God show you who you can't trust. Relax. Source is going to show you everything. The answers you seek are coming. I keep trying to tell somebody, you seeking some answers about some money coming through, they're coming. But in the meanwhile, while you're sitting there like, why am I thinking about so-and-so? I haven't worked with them in a long time. And how come this person? Because God is also showing you information about them as well. But don't return their call. There's some energies that want you to call them. Do not look back. Your inner child is proud of you because somebody finally got burned deep enough to say, okay, my inner child right now, I remember how this feels. So you got messages from your ancestors trying to come through. And so they say you have the gift of claircognizance. You have psychic knowledge about other people. That's not something you want to look away from. You also have the gift of telepathy, transference of thoughts, feelings, ideas, whether they're intuitively, emotively, or superconsciously. But yeah, it's some energies right here that see you as competition. Sources saying always bet on you. It's never been, you got guardian angels watching over you. They see that you've gone through nightmares and they see what people are plotting and planning and trying to set you up. I'm telling you, it can be just the most unassuming kind of energy. Like if you have a business, it could be people that you seem like, okay, they're a nice person to warm up to. They're looking for anything to see that to say that you crazy out of your mind. They can take that back to people. So if you're a mental health professional, in any way, shape, form, or fashion, trust me, people have said the same thing about you. Don't get caught up in no mess. Don't fumble your own bag because you align with some people who are trying to mess other people over and you don't really know them like that. You're looking at them as a reliable source and they have an agenda that they're going to use anybody to fulfill that agenda. Because, yeah, there's some people that want to see you in a straitjacket. They want you to be in a nightmare situation because they're aligning themselves with other people that have said that you were a nightmare. That's how it works, though. So don't let your pride get in the way. Remember, your vulnerability is your strength, right? So this right, like I said right now, there's some energies from your past that's trying to demonize you. Just so you know, ahead of time, they're trying to demonize you. They're saying something having to do with money. But see, the way that God is positioning it is that God has assigned you to people that have done the same thing to you, Cancer. I hope somebody doesn't miss this because we're talking about spiritual, everything is spiritual, but everything is energy. God has assigned some energies to you that the exact same thing has been done to you that's been done to them. But you may not know that until you're having conversations with them, right? So you could be connected to some energies that's very arrogant, always on get back time. And right now, somebody's financial situation may not be the best. You could be waiting on money or whatever the case may be. And Source is saying, I'm going to see if you're going to tune into Source's channel, or are you going to keep on tuning into people who are trying to burn people's channel, like for the sake of gossip, because you got a lot of stuff going on. And again, you're tempted. You're just like, okay, something don't feel right. I feel like I need a drink. I feel like I need to be on medication. I feel like this thing is driving me crazy. Source is saying it's always best. Like I said before, it's always best, like I said before, to operate in your, like I said, don't let pride get in the way. Because the truth of the matter is this: if God always assigns us to people who at some point have been in the same position we've been in, on a position that we're going to be in. That's why I always tell people, like, if you think it's by coincidence that you would detour through a very wealthy neighborhood, you could be making $15 an hour. It's not by coincidence that God rerouted you, because God is trying to show you, if these people in this house, in this neighborhood, can be in these nice houses, so can you. God put you around very intelligent people. If these people could have all of these degrees, so can you. Like, don't miss the opportunity to be grateful to Source. And so keep your vibrations high. Keep your vibrations high through all of this. Here we have knowledge. That's right. This is where you want to increase your knowledge. Knowledge of self. 36. Because you're going to be ending some relationships. And whether you're ready for them to end or not, they will be ending. And some people, it'll come crashing down on them. Because they can like, I can't believe this person betrayed me, and so on and so forth. So it's too much hanging in the balance right now. If you're still connected to people who like to burn other people, and you consider them as a reliable source, not extending a grace, you could be fumbling your own money. Because somebody not connecting the dots. So during this time, when that moon is in Virgo, you better be real meticulous, because the moon in Virgo is like, a time where all the whirlwind of activity slows down, and you're trying to make it make sense to everything. Somebody else's stuff could absolutely block your money. You could be connected to, and I'm saying that because I'm looking at the Hierophant card, you can be connected to an organization that is trying to set somebody else up while you waiting on money over here, and that you being associated with them and knowing, it's not you don't know, knowing that they're trying to set somebody up, and the thing that you thought was a shoo-in all of a sudden falls through the cracks. So Source is saying, I'm telling you, karmic relationships are going to be broken up. But we all know that from just being in family relationships. That's why some people can't have good relationships with their brother or sister-in-law. They won't have good because they heard this and heard that, and it's going to tune into everybody else's channel except Source's channel. So here are the questions for the moon in Virgo. First question is, are you ready to define what you no longer need or want with a practical and objective eye? Second question is, can you define what's yours to fix and what's not in your life? The third question is, do you feel any fear around being fully self-sufficient and independent? The fourth question is, how could you learn more from nature? And then last but not least is, could you share your free time and energy in a valuable and charitable way? Yeah. That's why you hear people say, Cancers, complete strangers will support your business more than family will. The Source is trying to get you to redefine the word family. Some people belong to organizations, and their own organizations won't help them out of a financial bind, but a complete stranger will. So somebody better recognize when there's sacrifice. Sometimes surrender is painful. God's cutting away all that needs to go. Illusions, obsessions, addictions. It's a sacrifice to love. That's right. Source already paid the cost for everybody. So when you stay connected to energies that's telling you that, they trying to look for you I'm telling you, people will use anybody to set you up. And I feel like somebody's in a situation like that right now, where people are trying to set somebody up financially, trying to, in a negative way, trying to get somebody to burn somebody. And they'll use people who will warm up to people and then strike. So protect your energy. Protect your energy. Operate in the frequency of love. I am connected to all love and all light. These are affirmations you can say to yourself. Put this out in the universe. I welcome all forms of authentic love into my life. And I'm talking about agape love, business relationships, romantic relationships, friendships, authentic. I welcome those. I deserve to love and be loved. I love myself as I am. All is love and I am loved. I approve of myself. I am enough. My heart is full of love. I shared love with those around me. Yep. So, yep. Lots of stuff going on. Lots of stuff going on. Lots of stuff going on. Let's get a number and we're going to go ahead and close this out. So, third question is, do you feel any fear around being fully self-sufficient and independent? Fourth question is, how could you learn more from nature? And then last but not least, Cancers, is could you share your free time and your energy in a valuable and charitable way? So you already kind of ahead of all of the curve because you're a Cancer in that crab shell, right? So you love being a homebody. But use this time while you're waiting on something to recognize how codependency creates nightmares in other people's lives. You still being connected to this mindset, and you could have brought all those things into your workplace, into your romantic relationships, into friendships, and you gave off this woe is me, everybody keeps hurting me, but you still stand connected to those things, right? How it could be a nightmare for other people. And just ask God, thank God in advance for an exodus strategy, because I see your prayers being answered as an exodus strategy. Here we have 13. I am confident. That's right. You are a conscientious worker with a knack for coming up with creative ideas and turning them into something real. An optimistic but practical outlooks keeps you determined and on track as you work steadily towards your goals. Like I said, some people, 1 and 3 is 4. 4 is the earth number. While you may be saying, despite all the nightmares that happen in my life, I'm still a divine being of light who's having human experience. You got to understand there's a remnant of people who don't hit landed on the dark side of the number 4. It's their way or the highway. They are not going to be happy until, and I got to say this to somebody, until they see you in jail, or they see you in some padded room where you're being, under some kind of observation, because they really have told everybody that you was crazy, that you burned them. And it's like what is it called? Like a mob of energies. It's like a lot of energies that want to see you burn. So while you're inspiring and motivating people, they're demonizing you. And that's the part that some people don't want to see. They're like, I'm so busy. I'm worried. This money trying to come through, this trying to come through. And I'm inspiring and motivating because you're in this chapter of your life. But some people are still stuck in the past, Cancer, and they telling as many people that will listen how much of a demon you are, and how they didn't turn a 9 into a 6. They turn a 9 upside down. So while you looking at 999, my clairvoyance and my psychic ability is cleared, and I'm wiser now, and I'm this and that, and see the life God built for me, and all of it, you in praise mode. They in predatory mode. You're in praying mode. You're thanking God and you're meditating. They're in predatory mode. The way you're going to know exactly who it is if you sit yourself down somewhere in a quiet space and meditate on the messages that God's trying to give to you. Because you may not remember it through a dream, but your body is sweating. You feel like your emotions are all over the place. One minute you laugh and crying, and next minute you crying of sadness and don't know why. So it's just trying to get somebody to see that codependent relationships, unless you cut them off, you are a nightmare to other people. So, like I said, congratulations on your money coming through and some kind of partnership in business and love, because a lot of things are happening right now. So, like I said, you have to choose. Forcibly remove those pink rose-colored sunglasses, or do you want to gently remove them yourself and start thanking God for, for forgiveness? God, thank you for showing me. I didn't even realize by staying connected to certain hurt energies how it was hurting my relationships around me. That's what I have for you. I'll see you all in the next video. Hopefully those questions have been helpful. Bye.